Hi everybody, just wanted to stream uh, a play against underscore recently that I had with this tricolor deck. So if you want to check out why the tricolor deck, it's all good. You can check the previous video. But in this case, this match was pretty fun to play, and underscore is one of the top three players bouncing around there. So always good. You can see he has a little experimental deck here that he's running. It's pretty typical. Sort of horde-ish mono blue non-canon deck. So let's just get right into this. This game has Vanessa in it. I'm not exactly understanding why he has Vanessa in this particular deck, but it does get a lot of good use out of spell steal. We'll see here. So during deployment phase, I opt for the traditional deployment here, which is just going to be middle Omni Knights with the idea that round 2 you get Shadow Fiend in position 2. Just build up a very strong lane here. So this is the standard approach. And then you see safe lane Underlord, who's position middle, just to take in case he draws his aura early. That's a little so-so here, because sometimes you want to like make room for Tidehunter round 3, but it's also pretty much the standard placement. And finally just Sorla sitting off lane. So you see here he starts out with Pass the Wise, so he drew one of the basically good Ogre Magi combos round 1, so I'll get 2 paths up. I have a few options here, and in this case the best option is definitely Under Secrets. So once SF comes down, I'll be getting free cards and free gold out of this lane. And I'm pretty happy because I have 2 paths in my hand, which is the key to doing a lot of damage at this deck. And Presence is a fine card, so we'll see how this goes. Especially round 2 Presence is nice here because I can draw like a second a 2 or 1 value card, and I can also just heal for extra damage. And we'll see that I take Stonehall Cloak, as always, pretty much round 1 here, and my opponent has apparently gone Midas. I was a little concerned my opponent might go into the Magic Mall and place it on the Ogre, so I was kind of having some second thoughts about how to do this deployment. But you'll see that I just go and opt to get the 2 souls out of this, rather than trying to overthink and, try to block the Magic Mall. And in this case, it turns out to be good because he could Midas play Midas. But I do think probably the better play is to just get rid of this Under of Secrets because it tends to give a lot of value to my deck. Right, so I drew Atrophy Aura, and I think in this case I'm probably going to play Atrophy Aura here. I was really debating originally what I want to do, and I'm almost certain I give Atrophy Aura to Omni. This lets Omni become a threat in his own right, so he's gaining power at the same time Shadow Fiend is. And you'll just see me heal off this. My opponent does steal cards from me, which really is going to be important in this game. So he's got a free repel, which is great. He's got enough mana to steal another card. So here I just complete my plan of, hitting tower damage on mid, and both of my heroes here getting very large. So far, very good looking middle lane, but we're going to see that middle lane gets pretty spicy here in just a second. So I'm kind of happy because, I had both these paths, and he's stolen the Path of Bold. So Path of Bold is going to be really problematic. I was really, unhappy about that, and he also uses the free repel to get rid of my Omni damage. So he's already gotten good value out of it, But that's or it's just kind of nice to have. And the other lanes, they're not going particularly well. As usual, like Sorelai just kind of ditching her lane and for the most part, don't care what happens to her. And you can see she usually gets blocked by the opponents because they really don't want to have to deal with a Sorla that's, just stealing away all their gold and doing tower damage. I get the unfortunate loss on Sorla here. I wanted to put a Stone Hall Cloak on her, but I lost a 50-50 here. I sent Tide over here really just to slow down this whole lane because I would just be losing it too quickly otherwise. So I have to decide what I want to do here. A few options really in this scenario. So obviously I want to play in mid lane to get under his secrets up. I have the option of moving this guy over to this lane to double up on this tower. If I really want to be aggressive about it, since this lane is pushing slow. I can also just do like a Presence of the Dark Lord into like Requiem of Souls play here. In this case, I just want to get path up first. So now that I've started my path here, I have 3 more mana to decide. I really want to play this. Again, I can either go for a lot of different routes here in mid lane. So I have these Eidolons and this Untested Grunt that could push this up to 4 instantly. If I go that play though, he does have 4 mana and he has Path of Wise, so I would kind of probably start losing all of my cards that I just set up here. And I'm really not sure what to play in this case because it would be nice to have like a building move, Presence of the Dark Lord, and so I opt to just kind of defer here and do Stone Hall. I basically decided that I'm going to make these like as strong as a power couple as I can. So now that he's played this barracks, I'm less concerned. He just has Tower Barrage. I'm still a little bit worried about playing too many cards here to get Tower Barrage. I kind of want to play a card here so that I can get the proc off on Tidehunter and save my tower from getting any hits from these poison guys. Yeah, so you do see that I go ahead and take the proc here and remove one of these. Again, this is also saving my Tidehunter from getting, poison procs on.
Ancient's will shall not be denied.
So in this case, they've opted to really try to kill my SF, but luckily I have enough mana to do Remess Blessing, and that makes my decision for what I want to play in middle. I just Remesk off of SF and keep the big boys rolling over here. And I have a good amount of souls. Prolix is out of here, but the real problem in this lane is that he played Path of the Bold, and it's really causing me a lot of issues. Like obviously, like SF almost died last round. He's in danger again. So it's do or die in this lane. Like you can see, he's also been committing to it like heavily with both barracks and Prolix and things like this, and he's already pushed about as much damage. And again, it's gonna be very hard for me to actually do. So here he actually manages to kill SF, which has to do with the initiative. I was quite sad about this because I really wanted to heal him, but unfortunately I just didn't have the initiative coming into this round, which was really a lack of planning on last round. But in this case, I'm kind of debating exactly what I want to do. I think, yeah, I once again block the damage from Benno here, and I've completely succeeded in my mission with Tide over here. I could have lost most of this tower in the last 2 rounds and didn't. And last turn during shop I bought Hourglass, which is great because now I can, having successfully moved this, I can reposition him over to a more contested lane, whether it's mid or something else. Again, I had to heal myself there, not just for the heal, but to remove this Path of Bold. Unfortunately, he finally has equipped this the
Your
magicking
time has
on mid,
come.
and luckily, I guess he didn't
Friends
get
look
enough
after
secrets.
each other.
I say luckily because right now I can't really push the tower damage anyway, and I'm gonna need to play more cards in order just to defend here because, again, um, it's just too dangerous to leave this lane. Like I have too much committed to it already. Um, so I send my boy Tide here. He's got Ravage. I've got to clear the deck. Um, it's looking pretty good. I have Sorrel over here just sort of to keep pressure up, but it's really debatable where I want to put Sorla. In this case, I get blocked by Prolux, which isn't great, but it's okay. I can move Underlord over, which is tempting since there's no real offensive threats on right lane. So we see the very rare triple barracks mid. He really, really, really doesn't want me to push mid, but of course this deck has assault ladders, and if I want to push mid, I could still push mid. SF in all likelihood is coming back down mid, and SF is going to have a good number of souls and will help me be able to clear stuff out. You see here, I opt to shut down mid basically by clearing out his one hero there. I didn't want him to be able to like eliminate my heroes essentially. I didn't know what he had in his deck. You can see he does have some options like this mana short is going to be a very important card. I'm not sure if he's going to burn his Chervin Creeple here. In my case, I could put Assault Ladders, but it's really not going to push any damage in this lane, and I really want Assault Ladders from mid. So I do opt to just block Vanessa with my little draw card buddy here. And finally, a threat shows up on right lane as he calls this. So I could Demagicking Maul the Sorla, but I really want Demagicking Maul to start hitting mid with Assault Ladder so that this whole, frankly, terror situation where it's all just mass melee creeps that are buffed by Path of the Bold can have some chance of ending. So you can see this game has been pretty defensive. I wasn't able to keep my path up in mid to do a lot of damage, and due to like the blue stall, it's succeeding in drawing things out. But in this case, because I have this growing hero and things like this, I do have good prospects leads. So I'm not particularly worried about this being a losing game state. Um, so in this case, I'm slightly concerned about. This is really good for Shadow Fiend because I'll be able to heal and kill multiple melee creeps, and then I'll be able to actually, Shadow Fiend for more, and I'll have Assault Ladders at the end of it. A little concerned about, frankly, like getting Annihilator or something mid because I have 3 heroes here. He didn't actually draw that. On left lane, I'm still just stalling. I didn't want to commit the Demagicking Maul here, and so I'm suffering a little bit. I do go ahead and just try to complete the stall. I'm, giving up a lot of damage on right lane, but at least these aren't creeps that are, poisoned because they weren't summoned by Venomancer. So now you're probably going to see me heal with Omni Knight probably to clear these creeps. Idea being between heal and SF souls, I should be able to clear most or all of these things out.
My friend.
And I'm also keeping him safe. So I do have enough mana to cast like Presence, a Raid, or Assault Ladders immediately. And so I'm just deciding which ones I really want to get in here. You see I offer Presence, which procs even more kills on these. So I'm succeeding in killing these things. And now my SF Requiem is going to take out all of this. And I'm going to be able to play Demagicking I'm also going to be able to play Salt Ladders. If I opt for Salt Ladders, which I'm pretty sure I do. I think I may actually go for Path here. I mean, Assault Ladders plus the Magicking would push this tower to 0, so hopefully I should choose that. I might choose Path though, if I remember the game correctly. Let's see how well I was thinking in this situation. He does have Call to Reserves in all of his mana, so we do in fact see this pop up. So again, I'm not actually going to get to push damage here, but I will do Assault Ladders. Like, this pretty much like seals it in favor of Assault Ladders so that I can push and start blowing these things up. At least I'm almost certain that's what I opted to do. It would have been nice at the start of this to cast Atrophy, but you don't really have time for everything. So you do see Assault Ladders come mid, and now I can the Magicking and also deal most of the life damage here. And you see what a scramble this has turned into just because I lost my Path of the Bold, which was really one of my big win cons, in this case being turned against me. But I really fought as hard as I could in this mid lane to hold it down just because I know how strong Path of the Bold can be.
My strength grows.
I opt to put it on Tide just to spread out this a bit, and because Tide has the Hourglass, I can move it around to other lanes if I want to take out other enhancements. So I get a Barracks, which is, not what I was really hoping for, but it's better than just getting Path the Wise.
I shall not falter.
I managed to hold off on my Ravage this whole time, and now I have a lot of money, so I opt to take the Mortar Dagger. Because how can you not? So in this case, I'm really unsure what I want to do with Tidehunter because he'd be useful in every lane here. Like, I'm losing left lane this turn to Path the Wise and everything else, and I don't want this lane to get completely destroyed. But on the other hand, I'm also losing right lane, and it would just be nice to be able to take out these things really quickly, but that just leaves him 2-turn committed there. So instead of all this, I actually opted to save my Omni middle, because even though he has a lot of life, I do know he's in range, like, for mana short and other things. And so we actually see here, unfortunately, I lose SF to mana short, and just once again shows how important the initiative is here. Usually my deck has good initiative because I'll draw repels with Unearthed Secrets, but I haven't really tended to draw any repels, and I lost one of them at the start of the game. And again, his deck has natural ways to steal with Vanessa, so I've suffered multiple times from the initiative loss. You do see I am pretty much looking to clear mid lane anyway, so I go ahead and do Ravage because I should be able to, I think, push enough damage. I mean, depending on how exactly I play. He doesn't have any barracks charges left here. So I mean, he's destroying left lane. I should be able to finish mid here if I do Mortar Dagger, which I do think I do. Like, the only other option is Gush, which I might throw anyway, just to get rid of Ogre. But getting this middle lane lets me teleport. I mean, unfortunately, I really don't have, I'm really struggling at this point just because of how well he's cleared me with these multicasted mana shorts. I didn't really have any options to stop them. So, I'm just happy, I guess, that I have this. I do opt to just defend with Thunderhide and be able to kill Vanessa, hopefully. This will stop him from getting a little more income from menace, and I wasn't seeing any good opportunities to actually use this in the intended way with Tidehunter to clear stuff out.
Looks like
So I
you
mean,
could
the
use a
downside of
little
this
help.
was that I didn't get to destroy another enchantment mid. But all in all, that's okay. So in this case, Omni really wants to go block one of these lanes because, you know, I can't be losing them. In this case, I'm just going to block here so that my
I
Thunder
am the
Hide can get
lord of
healed
the sea.
and I can continue, you know, trying to defend this left lane. Right lane I judge still slow. Again, like the non-Veto wards do a lot less tower damage than the Veto ones. Like if Veto was here, I'd pretty much have a dead tower this turn and be really close to losing the game. I mean, everything is close as it is. You can see each lane on my side is tough, and I do not have a good second lane to go into. Um, I also don't have like the major path, which is Path of the Bold at all. I do have a Path of the Cunning to push damage. At this point, no black heroes to actually dump a lot of cards, so my options this turn are really limited to
Justice
Ash Fiora
comes
and
for you.
Gush, which, you know, fine, I'll cast them, but it's not really going to,
My favorite
you know,
part is when we light everything on fire.
to make everything well. But luckily his deck is also kind of out of gas here, so he's got a Warhorn that he can choose to push damage to one lane. Um, oh, I do opt to go ahead and use my my little trample creep here, so I can start making some progress on left lane. And I'm going to be disappointed. Oh, he doesn't actually kill with Warhorn. I thought he was going to drop the Warhorn here. Maybe he does actually with the second one. You can see I'm losing middle lane immediately. And now I'm not sure whether he tries to drop it on right lane, which, you know, would push an extra 8 damage and take it down to 4. Um, which I think is probably the better play. But he may put it
15
here
seconds
just to like
remaining.
put a stop to this trample threat. It's difficult to say what his mentality is, and I, you know, don't
5
remember
seconds
exactly.
remaining.
For my
3,
parts, I'm trying to
2,
debate whether I want the
1.
Magic Maul or Blink or something. I do opt to just Blink over here. I don't want to lose this right lane, and again, it was too dangerous. Like, I would have to deploy someone here next turn. In this case, I just want to kind of thread both these lanes.
I'll stop you no matter what.
Like, I've judged that he's not going to have a way to do, like, a sustained damage to threat mid, so I'm just abandoning it. Like, it's too tough still with these, and I wasn't able to knock them down enough. So, he does end up with the defensive Warhorn that, you know, originally he was hoping to kill, I guess, Thunderhide, but at least force my heal. But now he does successfully kill my little trample creep, which, you know, too bad, but it's alright. I opt to just push a little bit more damage against Prolux here. A little debatable, especially at the cost of initiative. But feeling pretty good on this deploy because I have 3 heroes coming in. He does still have like annihilations, but you know, even if he annihilates, he's not.
You cannot flee.
He will be able to blink a little bit,
What offense for?
but it's not necessarily too easy for him. So in this
The
shopping
fight
phase,
is almost over. I have no
I
mercy
opt
to
to just
give.
go into what do you call that thing? This you know, another health item essentially. At this point, I'm concerned with blocking, and again, I guess just concerned about another set of mana shorts coming out. I mean, I should have just, you know, known that there's not going to be them. So I decide, like,
You
for
were a
sure that I'm going to
fool
block this
to
lower
fight
health lane.
me.
And I've got all my big hitters here now. So
My
even though we
people will
haven't made a lot of
defend the
progress in this
ancient
lane,
till our
you
dying
know,
breath.
Shadow Fiend and Omni are so big that, you know, they're going to be able to rapidly hit this tower down and they're instantly a threat. So I do have Assault Ladders here. And I have a lot of little creeps to play, as well as Path. I also have Raid to close out the game, which is always a good thing to have. So if you count up my damage here, it's 25 damage, and you'll see that I basically am within striking range already. I do know his deck doesn't really have
An
any options except
all-seeing
really
one, bear witness.
Annihilation. I'm a bit concerned with that, but I didn't think he would Annihilate here just given the board state. I thought he'd be trying to push here, because obviously he's not going to be able to make progress here. Like, he doesn't really have any kind of big damage threat he can put in here. Um,
Your time has
he
come.
opts to block a little harder here. In this case though, he's pretty fairly doomed. Oh, I did actually have Path of the Bold here as well.
I offer you the strength of the ocean.
So you're seeing that I'm really just playing like a typical endgame scenario for my deck, which is to have this giant threats, which is just playing a ton of low-cost cards. So you set out your 2 paths, you set out your assault ladders. I've got 2 grunts that I can play for 1 mana. In addition to that, I, in this case, actually have Raid. So Raid is
Hello,
going to push an extra
friend.
3 damage, and you'll see that I've just hit the magic number here. So I've got 24 on the tower already. With Raid, it's going to be 27. So he has 1 chance to stop me here. He doesn't really have the cards for it though, so this is, how the game ends. I did have a lot of options here. I mean, I could have done souls, I could have also done more grunts. So this just shows the power of really buffing heroes so strong, which is kind of the end game theme of this deck. So, both of these decks, like the blue stall and my deck, are kind of slower fighting decks, and you see just in the end, like the philosophy here of like, if you have a lot of card draw and you have paths and you have cheap creeps in ladders, and maybe a raid, you can really just if you've spent your game accumulating a bunch of souls with SF, particularly if you're against a swarm deck, this thing was built for like anti-canna decks. um, if you built up a bunch of souls and you were fortunate enough to get an aura off, you have really large heroes, and because you put key heroes with cloak early, you know, that's why you're, gonna see a dominating endgame here. So that's it for this game. I really enjoyed it. The Path of the Bold made things very hard in the mid game. I kept having to commit, um, a lot of bodies here, and despite how durable the setup is, it was really close. But you know, this tricolor deck is actually extremely well matched against these swarm decks. You can see there's just a lot of cheap cheap clearing potential between these 3 heroes especially, so that you can even when you have 3 barracks against you mid, and even when the barracks are backed up, by Prelix in some case, or even Path of the Bold randomly, um, you know these little champs here, very good. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.